Yes, you guys, welcome back. In today's News Daily video, I've got two big stories to break down, discuss, and dive into. For the first story, we've got some news surrounding the three big targets for this summer. They are Jadon Sancho, Lukaku, and Declan Rice. Here are the latest reports behind this, as well as my thoughts and opinions. And to end things with the second story, we turn our attentions to the Liga NOS League, Sporting Lisbon in particular, where we discuss the latest wonder kid to come out from that club. His name is Nuno Mendes, and reports are suggesting that the club want to be kept in the loop in regards to a potential move for this summer. So you guys, summertime, it's going to be mad. Times are getting exciting, you guys, and if you like today's video, smash the like button, help me get over 2,000 likes for today's video. And without wasting no more time, and now we start with the first story today, and let's discuss the three candidates leading the shortlist for the main targets we want to sign: Lukaku, Sancho, Declan Rice. And this news came courtesy of the London is Blue podcast. Now you guys, on the card above, I'm going to send you a link to their YouTube channel. You know, show us some support, show us some love. And of course, in the description, there will be a link to the podcast episode. They put out world-class content, and in their latest episodes, they had on Matt Law, who provided more insight and context behind the three players leading the shortlist. Very insightful. And immediately, I guess, if you're hoping to sign all three of them, that's at least costing you 250 million. Only in transfer fees. I don't know what it's going to be like in wages and clauses, and of course, some signing on bonuses for the agents of the players. But one thing that we do know is that this summer, we are going to sell. Some of those leading candidates are going to be Tomori and Tammy Abraham, and as I explained in yesterday's video, because they come from the academy, there's no transfer fee behind them. Their player cost per year is literally only their wages. Tammy's on around 50,000. I'm assuming that Tomori's around the same amount of money. That is barely anything the club are paying for both players, meaning that when we sell them, we're essentially flipping them for God knows 7-8 times the value. You're getting at least 70 million from their sales, and there are only a few examples of other players that we will still sell during the summer. On top of them, on top of the loan players we loan out, their loan fees, their wages being subsidized. Now, of course, these guys are leading the shortlist. These are the main candidates. It doesn't mean that we are guaranteed to sign them. And, the good news is, if we can't get them, the ones below them are still excellent players. For example, Romelu from AS Monaco. I think this guy is going to be one of the leading midfield players in the world. He's destined to be world class. Incredible season, incredible player. And to be honest, if you're linked with him or Declan Rice, who do you say no to? Who do you sign? I'm impartial. I think they're both great players. I would go for Romelu, but I'm still happy with Declan Rice. And another man who is happy with Declan Rice is Thomas Tuchel. Now, that's excellent news to hear, because previously with prior reports, it was suggested that the club were maybe too embarrassed to have to re-sign Declan Rice, which has definitely been disproven. It was not as accurate, it was definitely twisted, and the actual context and reality was that, of course, the club felt a certain type of way to have to re-sign Declan Rice back for an astronomical amount of money. It's not that they're embarrassed to sign him back in general because he was a former academy player. That doesn't make too much sense, considering we've signed players like Matic and many others who we sold and signed back again. So, that's great news to hear, because Declan Rice is one of the leading Premier League midfielders this season. His leadership abilities at West Ham, his relationship alongside Soucek, they've been one of the best duos in the league. And with Declan Rice, he's been a player that's been growing, improving, and getting better season by season. And I've said this religiously for many seasons, but for me, even before this season, seasons back when he was getting written off, he has that Cobham DNA. Let's not forget that. He has that Cobham DNA. So essentially, he would be coming back home, and you'd imagine that Declan Rice is absolutely buzzing in the potential anticipation to re-sign for us. So let's see what happens there. And now, let's turn our attention to Romelu Lukaku. At this point in time, he is one of the leading candidates that we are hoping to sign up front, and it does make a ton of sense. Now, we do know that with Harry Kane and the affiliation between Tottenham and us, was a deal really ever going to happen? I mean, let's keep things real, you guys. Absolutely not. In regards to Haaland, though, even though there are no reports categorically stating that we aren't signing him anymore and that he is definitely guaranteed to stay at Dortmund, it does seem like the expense surrounding the deal could be too much for us, and considering that next summer he is going to be available for his release clause, Lukaku makes more sense as Inter Milan are currently in a financial pickle. Now, I don't want to be too cocky here, but I do think we have a good opportunity of signing Lukaku. However, reports are saying now that Antonio Conte is in strong consideration now for the Real Madrid job. We know that yesterday Zidane did leave, meaning that they need a manager, and Conte is now free as well. So it would make a lot of sense, and I could definitely see Conte becoming the new Real Madrid manager. If that's the case, we know that Madrid still need to sign a striker, and you'd imagine, knowing that Conte likes to work with previous and former players, that he could potentially persuade Lukaku to move with him to Real Madrid. I could see it happening, Lukaku linking up with Eden Hazard, Lukaku and Benzema up front, with Benzema playing as that deep lying forwards, Lukaku playing in front of him, and can you imagine that front two? So I don't want to get too cocky. However, there is a strong possibility that we could get this deal done, but we have to wait until after the Euros. Now, as I explained before, anything could happen. Lukaku hypothetically could get an injury, and then, if we sign him beforehand, that's going to absolutely kill our season. So we wait for him, because Lukaku wants to focus with the Belgian national team because he wants to win the Euros. So respect to him for that. But the only thing we are still waiting for is that official bid made from us. So, we have to wait until after the Euros. Let's hope it comes very soon. And to end things with the final target, and that is Jadon Sancho. Now, we got some updates surrounding these Callum Hudson-Odoi swap talks for Sancho, and as Goal.com stated from the reports in his Cancella, Hudson-Odoi doesn't want to leave. He doesn't want to become part of a makeshift in this deal. He still wants to play for us and win a spot in the team, and I feel like with his potential and what he has, and for me, as I keep saying, this season he's had many positive moments and many positive impacts. For me, he needs consistent game time down that left wing. Let him play his best position. It's hard to make a name for yourself when you're playing in the opposite flank, doing things opposite to what you're best at. So I hope that he gets more opportunities there for next season. But at the same time, Jadon Sancho, we know that he's destined to leave Dortmund. United are still currently leading at this point in time. We have to show our ambition. We have to show him that we want to sign him, and for that to be the case, I feel like we may have to sell a player to make room for him. If that isn't going to be Hudson-Odoi, could that potentially be Christian Pulisic? Could that be Hakim Ziyech? What is going to be the solution there? Or could Sancho be the alternative if we can't sign any striker this summer? I think maybe that's why the club aren't making strong efforts at this point in time to secure Lukaku now, because I still feel like they're still fully finalizing who the actual targets are going to be. But regardless, we got an idea of who the main ones are going to be. Let's hope we see Declan Rice, Lukaku and Sancho here for next season. If we do, wow, what a team, what a squad, and what a season we could potentially have for the next one. Wow, I think Lukaku completes that front line. Sancho, he provides the goals and the assists for the team as well. And of course with Declan Rice, providing the ability for Kante to be rotated more, giving us the option to play in a midfield three as well. I feel like he's the type of player that we need in this team, that has the legs, the technical ability, the passing ability too, and most importantly, the leadership to take this team to another level. So you guys in the comments below, give your thoughts and opinions. How do you feel about this news? And as I said, in the card above and description below, there is going to be a link to the London is Blue podcast. So right now, you guys, we end things with the final story today. And now we end things with the second big story today, and we turn our attention to Portugal to discuss wonderkids Nuno Mendes. Now, he could be the actual real deal. Currently 18 years old, played an incredibly important part in the Sporting Lisbon team that won the Liga NOS, and actually he is the second youngest player before Cristiano Ronaldo to have such prominent minutes in the team. So right now he has the world at his feet, and it's absolutely no surprise that Sporting Lisbon have slapped on a 70 million release clause, which is around 59 million pounds. Now his agent is Miguel Pino, who is also the agent for Man United's Bruno Fernandes, and the reports coming out from Portugal today is that we, Chelsea Football Club, have asked to be kept in the loop for any possible deals coming out surrounding Nuno Mendes, and for very good reason, because at this point in time, our rivals in Man City, I'm calling them our rivals, you guys, we've got a Champions League final against them, they are leading the race to sign him. To be honest, you guys, I don't think I'd be too happy about that. Now, with Man City, they definitely have the negotiation in their favour at this point in time. They've actually loaned out their young Spanish fullback Porro to Sporting Lisbon, who's also had a prominent part in that Lisbon side that won the league. So what they're hoping to do is offer him as well as money to get this deal done. Currently, Sporting Lisbon are in no rush to sell him. They're waiting for him to be announced in the Portuguese squads for the Euros, and if that's the case, if he plays, if he has a great tournament, you can imagine they can ask for even more money for his sale. So right now, you guys, I know what you're thinking. Does this make sense considering we just signed Ben Chilwell for over £50 million? And I think from here on, I'm going to give my thoughts and opinions behind that. Now, for me, I think that if there's one position in football that you definitely need to have rotation in and, you know, to invest heavily in, that would be the fullback / wingback areas. So if you look at Man City currently, for example, they're looking at signing Nuno Mendes to join players such as Cancelo, Walker, Mendy. You know, these are big players that were signed for tons of money, and I think that tells you everything you need to know about how demanding it is playing as a fullback. You need to maintain that team's intensity, and most times due to the importance of width, due to the importance of creating overloads against teams, have that extra man making that late man running behind. A lot of that can come down the flanks, so the last thing you want to have is tired wingbacks or fullbacks in those areas. So, you know, that's Nuno Mendes, and right now I'm going to break down exactly why he's so hyped, why I feel the hype is justified, and what makes him a stand-up pro at 18 years old. With Nuno, he can play as a left wing back or a fullback as well, and he is an incredible player. Currently with Lisbon, they play a 3-4-3, which means that he plays as a left wing back, and immediately I can envision the use of a player like this for next season. He's explosive, the way he holds the line, he's very good at carrying the ball. This guy is very silky and nice on the ball. He's one of those guys which, you know what I mean, I don't want to say Alphonso Davies, even though there's similarities there, but he will carry the ball and take on his opponent and drive down the flanks. With how it is with most fullbacks or wingbacks, a lot of times you have to create that overlap for them to run into, but how many of them can take that responsibility themselves, carry the ball, drive with it, and create something from nothing? That is the magic of Nuno Mendes. He's like quite tall too, I think 180, 174 centimeters, and extremely fast and very direct. On top of this too, he is also very good with his crossing. However, let's not forget too that he is 18 years old, so all he can do is maximize and, you know, fine-tune areas in his game. His positioning at times is natural, and it makes a lot of sense why at times his positioning could be a bit further forward than it needs to be, because he's very offensive and very proactive. I think that is definitely the type of mentality that I want to see in my wingback or fullback. And when you sign for a club like us with a manager like Thomas Tuchel, who knows how to use young players, how to maximize them, how to improve their game, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. Guy's got pace, tick. Crossing, tick. Defensively very good, 1v1, tick. Ball progression, tick. And personally, I think him and Ben could make an excellent combination to have. Great competition for each other, and at the same time we, you know, future-proof that position for the years to come. Of course, it'll be very expensive, but, you know, I believe that there is going to be money for this summer. We are going to generate tons of money too from sales, and if we win the Champions League, there's even more incentive to invest even more into the team, you guys. So on that note, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. In the comments below, give your thoughts and opinions behind the two stories today. Do you like the look of Nuno Mendes? Are you excited by the potential business we are about to do this summer? You guys let us know below. And on that point as well, of course, I have released a video alongside Man City's The Team Company where we give our prediction for the game on Saturday. So you guys, there's going to be tons of content coming out tomorrow. Tons of content. Be ready, you guys. The Champions League final is coming soon. I'm Nuno FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.